Kentucky is full of secrets hidden in quiet places where time seems to have stopped. Across the state, ghost towns stand as silent reminders of once thriving communities. Towns built on coal, rivers, and dreams that faded with changing times. From abandoned mining camps deep in the hills to forgotten river ports and vanished ferry crossings. These 10 ghost towns tell stories of hard work, hope, and loss. Join me as we explore the rise and fall of these lost places, uncovering the memories and mysteries that still linger in the bluegrass state. If you love uncovering hidden stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and help us reach our first 100 subscribers. Join the journey and be part of something special from the very start. 1 Paradise, Muhlenberg County, KY. Have you ever heard of Paradise, Kentucky? It was once a lively coal mining town full of families, schools, and stores. But today, Paradise is almost empty. A ghost town with only memories left behind. Let me tell you the real story of Paradise and what happened to this small town. Paradise was located in Muhlenberg County, Kentucky. Many people worked there in the coal mines, and the town grew because coal mining was important for the local economy. Families lived happily, children played outside, and life was busy and full of hope. But things began to change in the 1950s and 1960s. Coal mining became harder and less profitable. New machines meant fewer workers were needed. At the same time, the environment around Paradise started to suffer. The nearby Green River was polluted with coal dust and waste. The air became dirty, and the land was damaged. In the 1960s, the Tennessee Valley Authority built a large coal-fired power plant near Paradise to provide electricity for many homes and businesses. While this plant brought power, it also brought pollution. Smoke and ash from the plant made the air worse. As the plant grew, it took over more land, and many families had to sell their homes and leave. Because of these changes, Paradise slowly emptied. By the late 1900s, most people had moved away, and many buildings were left empty or destroyed. Today, Paradise is called a ghost town. The mines are closed, the streets are quiet, and only a few people remain. The power plant still works, but the town itself is mostly gone. A man who grew up in Paradise shared his story. He said, "When I was a child, the town was full of life. We played outside and went to school with our friends. But one day, the sky darkened with smoke from the power plant. I could taste ash in the air, and it made me cough. Soon, the school closed and my family had to move. It was hard to leave the only home I knew." The story of Paradise became famous through a song called Paradise by John Prine. The song talks about the town and how coal mining changed the lives of its people and the environment. It helped many people understand the struggles of small mining towns like Paradise. Visiting Paradise today gives us a chance to remember the past. It shows the hard work of coal miners and the cost of progress. Although most of the town is gone, the story of Paradise remains alive. It reminds us that changes in industry and the environment can deeply affect communities. Paradise is quiet now, but it still holds many memories. It teaches us how towns grow and disappear and how the lives of many people can be changed forever. Even though it is no longer a busy place, Paradise is an important part of Kentucky's history and the story of the people who once called it home. 2 Barthell, Harlan County, KY. Barthell is a small town in Harlan County, Kentucky. It was built in the early 1900s as a coal mining town. The town was created by the Stearns Coal and Lumber Company to provide homes and jobs for the workers in the nearby coal mines. Barthell was a busy place where many families lived and worked hard. The mines provided a way to earn money and supported the local economy. The town had everything people needed for daily life. There were houses for the workers and their families, a company store where people could buy food and supplies, schools for the children, and churches for the community. Barthell was like many other coal towns in eastern Kentucky, where life was centered around mining and the company that owned the town. Life in Barthell was not easy. Working in the coal mines was dangerous and difficult. Miners faced risks from accidents, coal dust, and long hours underground. Still, the people in Barthell were proud of their work and community. They helped each other and created a strong bond because they shared the same struggles and hopes. Over time, changes in the coal industry affected Barthell. New mining technology and a decline in demand for coal meant fewer jobs. The company that owned the town started to close mines and sell off properties. People began to leave Barthell to find work elsewhere. Slowly, the town became quieter and less populated. Today, Barthell is considered a ghost town because many buildings are abandoned, and only a few people live there. However, Barthell is special because it has a coal mining museum called the Barthell Coal Camp. This museum preserves the history of the town and the lives of the coal miners. Visitors can see old houses, mining equipment, and learn about the difficult work miners did every day. Barthell's story is important because it shows the impact of coal mining on small towns in Kentucky. It tells us how people worked hard to support their families and how the changes in the coal industry changed their lives. The town reminds us of the sacrifices made by coal miners and the communities built around this dangerous work. Visiting Barthell today helps people understand the past. Walking through the old town and museum shows how life was for the miners and their families. It is a quiet place now, but it holds the memories of a time when coal mining was the heart of the community. Barthell is part of Kentucky's history and the story of the people who lived and worked there. Even though Barthell is mostly empty now, it continues to teach important lessons about hard work, community, and change. It reminds us that behind every ghost town, there are stories of real people who faced tough times but still found ways to live and support each other. Barthell's past is a powerful part of Kentucky's coal mining heritage. 3 Blue Heron, McCreary County, KY. Blue Heron is a small town in McCreary County, Kentucky. It was built in the early 1900s as a coal mining town. The town was created by the Stearns Coal and Lumber Company to provide homes and work for miners who came to dig coal from the nearby mines. Blue Heron was one of the many coal camps in Kentucky where people lived close to the mines and their daily lives depended on mining. The town had many houses, a company store, a school, and other buildings needed for a community. The people in Blue Heron worked hard every day in the dangerous coal mines. Mining was not easy work. Miners had to go deep underground and face many risks like accidents and breathing problems caused by coal dust. Even with these dangers, mining was the main way for people to earn a living in Blue Heron. Life in Blue Heron was focused on the coal industry. The company owned most of the town, including the homes and stores. The miners and their families lived there, built friendships, and supported each other through difficult times. The town was busy and lively during the years when the mines were active. However, as time went on, changes came to Blue Heron. The demand for coal decreased, and mining companies started to close their operations. The coal mines near Blue Heron stopped working in the 1960s, which caused many people to leave the town. Without the mines, there were fewer jobs and less need for a community there. Today, Blue Heron is known as a ghost town because it is mostly empty. Many of the buildings remain but are no longer used as homes or businesses. However, Blue Heron is special because it has been preserved as a historical site by the National Park Service. Visitors can explore the old buildings and learn about the lives of the miners and their families. The town serves as a living museum that tells the story of coal mining and the people who lived there. The history of Blue Heron helps people understand the hard life of coal miners and the impact of mining on small communities. It shows how towns grew quickly when coal was important, but also how they disappeared when the industry declined. Blue Heron reminds us of the challenges and sacrifices miners faced every day underground. Visiting Blue Heron today is like stepping back in time. Walking through the town gives a glimpse into the past, showing how miners lived, worked, and built their community. It is a quiet place now, but it holds many memories of a strong and hardworking people. Blue Heron's story is a part of Kentucky's larger coal mining history. It helps keep alive the memory of the mining culture and the people who helped build it. Though it is no longer a busy town, Blue Heron remains important for those who want to learn about the life and struggles of coal miners in the past. 4 Kyrock, Edmonson County, KY. Kyrock was a coal mining town in Edmonson County, Kentucky. It started in the early 1900s when coal companies came to the area to mine coal. The town was built to support the workers and their families who worked in the mines. Kyrock was a small but busy community where people lived close to the coal mines and relied on mining as their main source of income. The town had houses for the miners and their families, a company store where people could buy groceries and supplies, and a school for the children. The community was tight-knit because most people shared the same work and life experiences. Coal mining was hard and dangerous work. Miners had to go deep underground to bring out coal, and many faced risks like cave-ins, gas explosions, and breathing problems caused by coal dust. Despite these dangers, mining was the best way to earn a living in Kyrock. Kyrock grew because coal was in high demand during the early 20th century. The town thrived while the mines were active, and people built homes, schools, and churches. Families lived in Kyrock for many years, raising children and building a community. The coal industry was the heart of the town's life. However, changes in the coal industry affected Kyrock over time. New mining technology reduced the number of workers needed, and the demand for coal began to fall. By the mid-1900s, the mines near Kyrock started closing. Without jobs, many people left the town to find work in other places. Slowly, Kyrock became less populated. Today, Kyrock is considered a ghost town. Most of the buildings, like homes and the company store, are empty or have been removed. The old railroad tracks that once carried coal out of the mines are gone or covered by nature. The town is quiet, and only a few signs remain of the busy life it once had. Kyrock's story is important because it shows how coal mining shaped small towns in Kentucky. It helps people understand the hard work and dangers miners faced every day. The town also reminds us how industries can build communities but can also cause their decline when times change. Visiting the site of Kyrock today is like looking at a piece of history. Though the town is mostly gone, the land still tells the story of the coal mining era. It reminds us of the families who lived there and the challenges they faced to make a life in a tough and dangerous industry. Kyrock is part of Kentucky's coal mining heritage. It is one of many towns that grew and disappeared because of changes in mining. Even though it is no longer a living town, Kyrock's past helps us remember the people who worked hard to support their families and the communities they built around coal mining. 5 Lynch, Harlan County, KY. Lynch is a small town located in Harlan County, Kentucky. It was built in the early 1900s by the U.S. Steel Corporation as a coal mining town. Lynch was designed to be a model company town, offering good housing, schools, and services for the miners and their families. At its peak, Lynch was a busy and lively community where thousands of people lived and worked in the coal mines. The town was special because it had better facilities than many other mining towns. There were clean homes, well-maintained schools, a hospital, and even a theater. The company provided these services to keep workers happy and healthy. The mines near Lynch produced a large amount of coal, which was very important for industry and energy in the United States. Life in Lynch was hard but full of community spirit. Coal mining was dangerous work. Miners faced many risks such as cave-ins, gas explosions, and health problems from breathing coal dust. Despite these dangers, families stayed in Lynch because the mines offered steady jobs. People in the town supported each other, and the community was close. Over time, the coal industry began to change. New mining machines and lower demand for coal meant fewer workers were needed. Many mines in the area started to close or reduce operations. This led to job losses and made it difficult for families to stay in Lynch. While some people left to find work elsewhere, others stayed and tried to keep the town alive. Today, Lynch is smaller than it once was, but it is not completely abandoned. It is sometimes called a ghost town because many buildings are empty and parts of the town are quiet. However, some residents still live there, and the town has a mix of old and new homes. The history of Lynch is still very visible in the buildings and streets. Lynch is important because it shows the history of coal mining in Kentucky and the United States. It represents the lives of many miners who worked hard to support their families. The town also tells the story of how company towns operated, providing housing and services to workers but controlling many parts of daily life. Visiting Lynch today gives a chance to see a real coal mining town and learn about its past. The old mines, company buildings, and homes tell stories of hard work, community, and change. Lynch reminds us that behind the coal that powered a nation were towns full of families, and even though Lynch is smaller now, it remains an important part of Kentucky's mining history. It helps people understand the difficult life of coal miners and the communities built around mining. The town's story is a reminder of the strength and spirit of the people who lived there and the changes brought by time and industry. 6 Creelsboro, Russell County, KY. Creelsboro is a small town located in Russell County, Kentucky. It was once a busy river port town along the Cumberland River, which made it an important place for trade and transportation in the 1800s and early 1900s. Many goods such as timber, coal, and other products were shipped by boats from Creelsboro to different parts of the region. The town grew because of its location on the river, and many people lived and worked there. In its heyday, Creelsboro had stores, homes, and businesses that supported both the local community and travelers passing through. The river was like a highway for the town, connecting it to other places and making it easier to buy and sell goods. Many people depended on the river for their jobs, whether working on boats, loading cargo, or running businesses that served the town's needs. However, in the 20th century, things started to change. The rise of railroads, highways, and trucks made river transportation less important. Trucks and trains were faster and could carry goods directly to more places. Because of this, fewer boats stopped in Creelsboro, and the town's role as a river port slowly declined. Without steady river traffic, many businesses that depended on shipping began to close. The local economy also changed. As coal mining and logging activities in the surrounding areas decreased, there was less need to ship these goods through Creelsboro. Many people moved away to find better jobs in bigger towns or cities. As the population decreased, more buildings in Creelsboro were abandoned, and the town became quieter and less active. Today, Creelsboro is often called a ghost town because most of the buildings are empty or in ruins. The Cumberland River still flows past the town, but there is little sign of the busy port it once was. Visitors to Creelsboro can see the remains of old docks, warehouses, and homes, which tell the story of a town that was once full of life but now stands mostly silent. Creelsboro's story is important because it shows how changes in transportation and industry can affect small towns. It reminds us that towns grow when jobs and business opportunities are strong, but they can also shrink when those opportunities disappear. The town's history helps us understand how important the Cumberland River was for trade and how new technology changed the way people moved goods. Visiting Creelsboro today offers a chance to imagine what life was like when the river was the main road for people and products. Walking around the town, visitors can picture the boats that once arrived and left, carrying goods and people. The quiet streets and old buildings stand as a reminder of the past and the people who lived there. Though Creelsboro is no longer a busy town, it holds the memories of the hard-working people who made their living on the river and in the town. Its history is a part of Kentucky's rich past, showing how towns can rise and fall depending on how people live, work, and connect with the world around them. 7. Scuffletown, near Pikeville, Pike County, KY. Scuffletown is a small community located near Pikeville in Pike County, Kentucky. It is not a traditional town but more of a rural area with a long history connected to coal mining and Appalachian culture. Like many places in eastern Kentucky, Scuffletown's life and economy were shaped by the coal industry. People who lived there worked mostly in coal mines or related jobs. The community was made up of miners, their families, and others who supported mining life. Scuffletown was once more active and had a larger population, but over time, many people moved away. The coal industry changed, with mines closing or reducing their work because of lower demand and new mining technologies. As jobs disappeared, families left to find work in bigger cities or other states. Today, Scuffletown is quieter, with fewer residents than in the past. Many houses and buildings are empty or abandoned, which makes it feel like a ghost town in some ways. Life in Scuffletown was tough but close-knit. Families depended on each other and shared a strong sense of community. Coal mining was dangerous and hard work. Miners risked their lives every day underground, facing dangers like cave-ins, gas explosions, and black lung disease. Despite this, the people took pride in their work and their community. Local schools, churches, and small stores were important gathering places that helped keep the community together. Scuffletown's story is like many small Appalachian communities that grew around coal mining. These places provided jobs and supported families for many years but faced decline when the coal industry changed. The area shows how important coal mining was to the culture and economy of eastern Kentucky. It also shows how hard it was for families when mines closed and people had to leave. Visiting Scuffletown today gives a chance to see a part of Kentucky's history. While the area may seem quiet and partly abandoned, the stories of the people who lived and worked there remain strong. The landscape, homes, and roads tell of a community shaped by coal mining and Appalachian life. Even though many residents have left, the people who remain in and around Scuffletown continue to keep the culture alive. They remember the challenges of mining and the strong bonds between neighbors. The community stands as a reminder of the struggles and resilience of coal mining families. Scuffletown is important because it reflects the experiences of many small coal communities in Kentucky. It teaches us about the lives of miners and their families, the dangers they faced, and the changes brought by the decline of coal. The story of Scuffletown is part of the larger history of Appalachia and the coal mining industry. Though quieter now, Scuffletown remains a place with deep roots and strong memories. It shows how communities can be built through hard work and how changes in industry can affect the lives of many people. The town is a reminder of the past and the continuing spirit of the people who call Eastern Kentucky home. 8 Laden, Pike County, KY. Laden is a small community located in Pike County, Kentucky. Like many places in Eastern Kentucky, Laden's history is closely tied to coal mining. The town was originally built to support miners and their families who worked in the nearby coal mines. Coal mining was the main source of work and income for the people living in Laden. For many years, it was a small but busy town where families lived, worked, and built a community around the mining industry. The town had homes for miners and their families, as well as stores, schools, and churches. These places were important for daily life and helped bring people together. Life in Laden was centered around the coal mines. Mining was hard and dangerous work. Miners had to go underground to dig coal, facing risks such as cave-ins, gas explosions, and breathing problems caused by coal dust. Even with these dangers, coal mining was often the only way for families in Laden to earn a living. Over time, changes in the coal industry affected Laden. New mining technologies and a drop in coal demand led to fewer jobs. Mines began to close, and many miners lost their work. Without steady jobs, some families moved away to find work in other towns or states. As more people left, Laden became quieter and less populated. Today, Laden is considered by some as a ghost town or a declining coal town because many buildings are empty and fewer people live there. The coal mines that once supported the town are no longer active. The town streets are much quieter than before, and signs of its busy past can still be seen in old buildings and mining equipment. The story of Laden is important because it reflects the history of many coal mining towns in eastern Kentucky. It shows how coal mining built communities and supported families for many years. It also shows the struggles these towns faced when the coal industry changed. The decline of mining affected the economy, jobs, and population of towns like Laden. Visiting Laden today offers a chance to see what life was like in a small coal town. The remains of houses, stores, and mining structures tell stories of hard work and community life. Though the town is quieter now, the history and memories of the people who live there remain. Laden's story helps people understand the impact of the coal industry on small towns. It teaches us about the strength and challenges of mining communities and how changes in industry can change the lives of many people. Even though Laden is much smaller now, it is still an important part of Kentucky's coal mining heritage. The town reminds us that behind every coal mine are families and communities that depend on this work. Laden shows the hard realities of life in coal country and the resilience of the people who lived through difficult times. Its history is a valuable part of the story of eastern Kentucky and the coal mining industry. 9 Elkatawa, Eastern Kentucky. Elkatawa is a small, lesser-known community in eastern Kentucky. Like many other places in this region, Elkatawa's history is closely tied to coal mining. The town grew because coal was found nearby, and many people moved there to work in the mines. For years, coal mining was the main way to earn money, and it shaped the life of the community. The town had homes for miners and their families, and a few local businesses where people could buy food and supplies. Schools and churches were important parts of the community. People in Elkatawa worked hard in the mines, often facing difficult and dangerous conditions underground. Mining was risky, with dangers such as falling rocks, explosions, and breathing problems from coal dust. Life in Elkatawa was tough, but people were proud of their work and community. The town was small and close-knit, with families supporting each other through hard times. Mining brought jobs and income, but it also brought challenges. Many miners and their families faced health problems, and the work was never easy. Over time, the coal industry in eastern Kentucky began to change. Demand for coal dropped, and mining companies started using new machines that needed fewer workers. Some mines closed, and others reduced their operations. This caused many people in Elkatawa to lose their jobs. With fewer opportunities, some families left the town to find work elsewhere. Today, Elkatawa is quieter than it once was. Many buildings are empty or abandoned, and the population has decreased. The town is not as busy as it was during the peak years of coal mining. Some people still live there, but it feels like a shadow of its past. The mining that once brought life to the town has mostly stopped. Elkatawa's story is like many small coal towns in eastern Kentucky. It shows how mining created communities, but also how changes in the industry can cause those communities to shrink or disappear. The town reminds us of the hard work miners did and the challenges they faced every day underground. Visiting Elkatawa today offers a chance to reflect on the history of coal mining and its impact on small towns. The empty buildings and quiet streets tell a story of change and loss, but also of the strength of the people who live there. Elkatawa is part of Kentucky's larger coal mining heritage. Though small and less known, Elkatawa is important because it represents the lives of many mining families in the region. It shows how coal mining shaped the culture and economy of eastern Kentucky. The town's history helps us understand the real-life effects of the coal industry on people and communities. Elkatawa stands as a reminder of the past, a time when coal mining was the heart of the town and the way of life for many families. Even as the town grows quieter, its story remains part of the rich history of eastern Kentucky's coal country. 10 Ford's Ferry, possibly western Kentucky. Ford's Ferry is a small, little-known community believed to be located in western Kentucky. Like many small towns in Kentucky, Ford's Ferry has a history connected to transportation and local trade. The town likely grew because of its position near a river or ferry crossing, which helped people and goods move across waterways. This made Ford's Ferry an important spot for travel and commerce in the past. In earlier times, before bridges and modern roads were common, ferries were often used to cross rivers. Ford's Ferry would have been a place where people, horses, wagons, and later vehicles crossed the river safely. This made the town a busy place with travelers stopping to rest, trade goods, or do business. Small stores and homes likely grew around the ferry to serve the needs of travelers and local residents. The life in Ford's Ferry was probably simple and focused on local farming, trade, and river transportation. Families living there depended on the river for their daily lives, whether for moving goods or fishing. The ferry was a key part of the town's identity and economy. People working at the ferry helped others cross and kept the community connected. Over time, the importance of ferry towns like Ford's Ferry began to change. As bridges were built across rivers, many ferries became less necessary. Roads improved, and transportation shifted away from river crossings. This caused towns built around ferries to lose much of their activity. Travelers took different routes, and the local economy changed. Because of these changes, Ford's Ferry likely became quieter and less populated. Many of the businesses and homes near the ferry may have closed or been abandoned. Today, Ford's Ferry is often called a ghost town or a forgotten place because little remains of the busy ferry crossing it once was. Despite its small size and quiet presence, Ford's Ferry is important in understanding Kentucky's history. It shows how rivers and ferry crossings were once central to travel and trade. The town helps us see how communities formed around transportation hubs and how changes in technology and roads can change those communities. Visiting the area around Ford's Ferry offers a chance to imagine life before modern transportation. Walking near the river, people can think about the days when ferries were the only way to cross, and towns like Ford's Ferry played a vital role. Though the town is quieter now, Its past is a reminder of the ways people once lived and traveled. Ford's Ferry story is a small but valuable part of Kentucky's larger history. It reminds us how important rivers were to early communities and how towns grew up around natural crossing points. Even as the ferry and the town have faded, the memory of Ford's Ferry shows how transportation shaped life in Kentucky. The town teaches us about the changing nature of travel and how communities adapt or disappear with those changes. Ford's Ferry stands as a quiet witness to a past time when rivers were highways, and ferries connected people and places in ways we no longer see today.